Did you know that you can find holes in the bottom around the legendary Bermuda Triangle? The only thing weirder is that a ship that may have belonged to aliens was also recently found there. Strange and creepy finds are still being discovered in this mysterious place, and they're definitely worth seeing. In this episode, I'll show you the most interesting and unusual finds in the Bermuda Triangle, which scared all the scientists. Let's go! Holes in the bottom. As we know, the Bermuda Triangle is located in close proximity to the Bahamas. But why do tourists go here without fear of strange rumors? What about reports that the ocean floor near the Bermuda Triangle is riddled with strange holes? You might think I'm going to tell you about creepy monsters, but the explanation for this phenomenon is much simpler. What's more, it can shed light on many of the disasters that have occurred in this region. In the southern part of the Bermuda Triangle, there's a unique zone. It's poorly explored and full of unsolved mysteries, despite the abundance of tourists coming here. Few people know that the Bahamas are surrounded by a vast expanse of shallow water. The Grand and Little Bahamas Banks, which stretch from northwest to southeast for more than 1,300 kilometers. The seawater above the banks is clear. The sandy seabed is easy to see from planes and ships. This is where the so-called blue holes are located. These are huge holes in the bottom. Surprisingly, scientists have only studied 20% of the total number of holes dotting the bottom of this place. Experienced divers love these places, but it's hard to put into words how dangerous they are. Even one such hole can draw in thousands of liters of water. Scientists say that in case the formation of strong underwater currents, such holes are quite capable of dragging the ship. However, only ancient wooden ships would fall into such a trap. Modern ships are capable of withstanding such whirlpools without much difficulty. Giant pyramids. Unexplained paranormal phenomena in the waters of the Atlantic Ocean became known in the 1960s. At the time, American scientists discovered a giant pyramid at the bottom. The size of the pyramid was many times greater than that of the Egyptian structures. The pyramid was a smooth monolith of material resembling glass. To the surprise of eyewitnesses, there were no barnacles, silt, or algae on the structure. Referring to photos taken at the bottom of the ocean, scientists have assumed that this amazing object is more than 5 centuries old. The construction technology was unlike any known method in the world. On the surface of the monolith, there were no joints or even scratches. Later, another similar structure was discovered with the help of modern equipment. In 2012, a couple from Canada who studied the mysterious place reported that when examining the ocean floor near the Bermuda Triangle, they found new pyramids and the ruins of an ancient city which had been buried under a layer of silt for centuries. Inscriptions, sculptures, and monolithic slabs created by humans were found on the walls of the stone structures. Could it be that the spouses accidentally managed to find the legendary Atlantis? What do you think? Lost and found. Will we ever know where the ships that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle went? Perhaps modern science can solve a few mysteries. Last year, scientists managed to identify a ship that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle almost a century ago. Divers discovered the wreck back in the 80s, but only recently they managed to figure out what kind of ship it was. On November 29, 1925, a merchant ship called the SX Cotopaxi left port of South Carolina and headed for Cuba. Aboard the ship bound for Havana were a cargo of coal and a crew of 32. However, the SS Cotopaxi never reached its destination. 2 days after the start of the voyage, the crew radioed a distress call saying the ship was lying on its side and was sinking. However, no trace of the wreck was found by the rescue ships that arrived on the scene. A month later, the SS Cotopaxi was still listed as missing. The ship has long been dubbed the Legend of the Bermuda Triangle, but scientists assert that the wreck was found 35 years ago off the coast of Florida. However, at the time, no one associated the wreck with the missing SS Cotopaxi. Last year, scientists visited the site again and were convinced that this was where the SS Cotopaxi had sunk. Unfortunately, even the captain's diary, found in the 1980s, could not reveal all the secrets of the disappearance of the ship, because the last entry was made in it on the day of disappearance. Alien ship. In 2018, explorer Daryl Miklos found an unusual object on the ocean floor in the Bermuda Triangle. The find was pure coincidence. Actually, Miklos searches for the remains of ancient shipwrecks in the Caribbean Sea, filming it on camera. For example, recently Miklos and his team found an anchor of one of Christopher Columbus's ships. This time, the find was not an ancient ship at all. Miklos is confident that this find is the first evidence of the visit of aliens to Earth, which took place hundreds or even thousands of years ago. According to Miklos, at first he thought he had found a large ship which belonged to Francis Drake. but in fact, he encountered an inexplicably huge structure. He said that the mysterious object was completely covered with coral. There were 15 formations sticking out of the sheer cliff, each the size of a warship cannon. The size of the object exceeds 2 soccer stadiums, and its age can be up to 5,000 years. It's unknown what exactly Miklos found. Scientists have never been able to explain his discovery in detail, and Miklos himself did not comment on his find for more than 2 years. Among the natives of the Bahamas, there's long been a rumor about a mysterious creature that sometimes appears in its shallow waters. In local legends, it's known as Lusca. Fishermen and tourists have allegedly seen it, and divers and swimmers have repeatedly encountered it. According to the rumors, for some, the encounter ended tragically. But the problem is that over the centuries, the creature has become surrounded by such divergent rumors that nowadays it's almost impossible to describe it. Those who survived the dangerous encounter reported that Lusca's torso resembles a large tortoise, weighing about 60 to 70 kilograms, but its snout is more reminiscent of a monkey's. The neck is much longer than that of a human. The creature can turn its head 180 degrees. Along with this, there's a completely different description, which states that Lusca is not alone at all. To this day, some locals are convinced that the ocean waters in this region are terrorized by a pack of monsters, each between 20 and 60 meters long, with razor-sharp teeth and many octopus-like tentacles. But even in this case, the rumors are mixed up with each other. While there are many oddities and incomprehensibilities in the case of Lusca, there are none in the case of the real creatures around the Bermuda Triangle. Stay tuned to learn all about the unusual glowing sharks you might come across around the Bermuda Triangle, as well as to see the other inhabitants of this mysterious place. Let's move on. Glowing sharks. What would you say if you saw glowing fish in the water while crossing the mysterious Bermuda Triangle? Don't jump to conclusions, it's not a myth. I'm talking about very real deep-sea inhabitants. One of these species is the Brazilian glowing shark. These fish are no more than 60 centimeters in length, although it's difficult to call them harmless. A characteristic feature of Brazilian glowing sharks is that they can gnaw pieces of meat out of their victims that are much larger than they are. And if you consider that they're also found in the Bermuda Triangle where people disappear without a trace, it's not surprising why these strange wounds were considered one of the mysteries of this place and attributed to the unknown monsters. But these fish got their name for the fact that their bodies are capable of glowing. However, this feature is also found in other deep-sea inhabitants. Mutant sharks. This living fossil is the only species of its kind. It's known as the goblin shark. Like those glowing sharks, it usually tries to avoid all light. It can be found at depths of more than 200 meters. This monster is rarely caught in the nets of fishermen, but 100 years ago, these fish were the cause of rumors about mutant deep-sea monsters. Despite the fact that the species originated about 80 million years ago, information about the shark didn't appear until 1897. A year later, scientists were able to describe and classify the shark. The goblin shark has an interesting and distinguishing feature, a jaw that can extend and retract. When prey swims in close proximity, the shark's jaws activate, extend, and grab it. Once in the mouth, the victim is met with small and sharp teeth, grinding everything indiscriminately. When the victim's dead, the jaw returns to its original position. The secret of the Bermuda Triangle. The phenomenon of the Bermuda Triangle remains one of the major mysteries of our planet. Over the years, lots of versions of unexplained incidents have been put forward, including abductions by aliens or inhabitants of Atlantis, attacks by giant squids, moving through holes in time and space, and so on. However, it's very difficult to give a definite answer as to what exactly is going on in this part of the Atlantic Ocean. As soon as mankind became seriously interested in this topic, strange disappearances of ships and planes almost stopped. But for fans of mysticism, this fact only pours oil on the fire. Could it be that the Bermuda Triangle became famous accidentally? So far, it's unknown. That's all, guys. Would you like to go to the Bermuda Triangle? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you later.